Hey, what's up, you guys? What's going on? It's your girl, Vanessa Cabrera here, and I am back with my brand new series known as the Becoming Series, episode 3. Yes. So, if you guys haven't seen episode 1 or 2, I suggest you guys watch those as well first before watching this one. But if you're catching me live, that's cool. So I'm going to put the links to those first 2 episodes within this one so you can watch them back to back to back. There is a method to my madness, I promise. All right. So if you guys have been following me for a while, I don't go live just to go live. I don't post anything just to post something. It has to be real intentional and very purposeful. And for years, I spoke about social media marketing strategies and all of the things, right? But this past year, when I was looking back at work and life, I was like, I don't want to talk about any of that. Because what has really, really moved the needle in my business and in my client's business is not any of that. Yes, there's some, obviously, you need a strategy and a plan and all of that. But I really wanted to talk about the internal struggles, especially with women entrepreneurs that we go through on the daily that we don't really talk about in public, right? We're too afraid to admit or to tell someone or any of that. So, I kind of want to go right through it and bulldoze through it and be like, okay, this is the real shit that I'm dealing with that I don't think anybody else understands or recognizes. And I'm here to tell you we are more alike than you think. Cool. All right. So, with that, today's episode is, let me get my notes. This one I'm excited about when it came to me. I'm like, oh God, yeah. All right. So being too much and not enough at the same time. Sound familiar? All right. So if you guys are new to me, hello, hello. My name is Vanessa Cabrera. I am a master certified NLP business coach. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. I'm also an award-winning marketing strategist, and I help service-based women entrepreneurs really understand how to leverage social media in order to scale their businesses, in order to grow them and grow them fast. My clients have made multiple 5-figure months in record time, 90 days or less. Some have even hit their first 6-figure payday. I'm talking about one client, one contract, and one is even on her way to hitting a million, being in business only a year and a half. So if that is not proof and facts that it does not take a lot of time to make money, especially in the online world, and now especially with I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, I do know what to tell you, so let's get into it. Cool? All right. So you've probably heard both of these sentences or whatnot, opinions, in different times of your career, right? Or life. You're a lot, right? You do too much. And you're genuinely the woman who people describe as powerful, ambitious, intense, driven, right? And yet you still go to bed thinking, oh man, I didn't get this done, or I had to do this, or I should have done that. Why am I not farther along if all these people are telling me this, right? What's wrong with me? What am I doing? What am I not doing? Yeah. And you have receipts. You have receipts all damn day. You built the damn thing. Yeah. You have receipts. You have clients. You've got your reputation. And somehow your brain is still running dual scripts, double scripts, meaning don't outshine anyone. Vanessa, don't be too much, right? And then at times you also feel that you're underperforming, that you're not doing enough, right? I didn't do enough today, or I didn't take it that far, or I should have pushed, or whatever bullshit that we tell ourselves. Yeah. So you end up living in this like weird ass space between too sharp for some people, right? Too sharp for some rooms. Again, I always say if I'm the smartest one in the room, I am in the wrong ass room. I do not want to be in that room. I'm in the wrong room, right? I want to be the dumbest in that room. You're too quiet for the rooms you actually want to be in, too qualified to play small, yet you continue to do so, and or too afraid to go all in. Yeah. So that's what I'm diving in deep today in episode 3 on actually being and feeling, acting too much, and yet feeling that you're not doing enough. That alone sounds exhausting, right? Okay, so again, this ain't about strategy. This is not about strategy, and it's not the strategy that's the problem. If you've gotten this far in your business, you probably already have a strategy or had a strategy that worked, right? This is not about branding, finding your voice. No, ma'am, right? How can you find your voice and say what you really want to say when you're holding back and you don't know why? Yeah. So, what I want to do is I want to go straight to the emotional imprints that all of us have had wired into us probably years ago. The moments you were told you were too loud, too sensitive, too ambitious, and also the moments that you were told or you were made to feel that you still weren't enough, no matter what you did. Because your unconscious mind is the domain of emotions and past experiences. It does not forget these scenes, okay? Does not forget these scenes. It quietly holds them and then decides how bold you're allowed to be, how much you're allowed to charge, how big you're allowed to get before it starts to yank you back down to protect you. So it's actually doing its job. We just need to rewire it. Yeah. So if you've ever felt like simultaneously too much for people and still not enough for your own vision, this ain't random. You're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. And I'd bet to say every woman entrepreneur has felt this one way or another. All right. All right. So, like I said, the unconscious mind is the domain of emotions and experiences. So, what it does, it stores every emotional charged moment, every single one. Okay. And I'm talking about shame, rejection, guilt, humiliation. Okay. Then it groups them into patterns. Okay. Then uses those patterns to decide what feels safe and what feels dangerous. So those too much and not enough moments didn't just hurt your feelings, okay, or make you question yourself. They became settings, okay, unconscious settings. So some early too much moments could look like this: being told, you're too loud, you're quiet, Vanessa, sit down in class, right? Being laughed at for being excited over something, or my favorite, being laughed at or questioned for being too ambitious, being called dramatic, bossy, sensitive, right? Emotional. Oh God, that's my favorite. She's so emotional. Well, shit, aren't we all? Don't we all have emotions? Right? Early, not enough moments could look something like not being chosen. Oh God, not being chosen on the team, being last chosen. Lord, my unconscious mind just went back to 6th grade. Thank you very much. Being compared to, ah, being compared to siblings, colleagues, other family members. Why can't you be more like so and so? Right? Why can't you shut the. Okay, focus, Vanessa. All right, see, can you tell I'm passionate about this? All right, or hearing, don't get ahead of yourself when you dreamed big, right? Don't get ahead of yourself. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? Blah, blah. And then people projecting their fear, their doubts onto you. And then you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about this, right? And then it holds you back. Ugh, frustrating. All right. So because your unconscious mind, its job is to protect you and not promote you, promote you. It quietly adjusts these settings in different situations when they look like this, right? So raising your rates. You're not ready yet. Ready for what? Taking up too much space online. You can't. You're not ready yet. They're not ready for you. They're not going to get it. They're not going to understand. Da, 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 da. Yeah. or going after bigger contracts. So you don't. The part of you that then takes that information and then you soften the post. You don't put out what you really want to say, how you really feel, the good stuff that we all want to hear. I want to know, right? That part of you that then undercharges. That part of you that doesn't follow up on that big lead. This isn't because you're lazy or flaky or any of that. It's your unconscious avoiding the old plan while you're trying to implement the new strategies, right? And then there's like an internal struggle. You're not sure why, right? So you end up running a business that keeps you small enough to digest, okay? Small enough to be digestible instead of big enough to being honest. Honest with yourself, honest with your clients, honest with your audience. So at this level, if you've built a successful business and have been running it, right? Your problem is not, I don't work hard. If you're building a business, trust me, you work hard, like you work hard in any 9 to 5, any corporate job, etc. Right? So it's not about you don't know how to work hard or you're not working hard enough. And it's not about I don't know the strategy, right? If you've gotten this far, you have had a strategy. You did have a plan. You implement it. Whether it worked or not is irrelevant, but you had one, right? And it's not about nobody wants what I do. Nobody wants what I have to offer. If you're running a business, you already have proof. Yeah? People pay you for what you do, what you have to offer, your product, program, and or service. People refer you. Yeah? People tell you you're powerful. Oh my gosh, I saw that post and it knocked me on my ass and all of the things, right? And yet you feel like you're consistently under your own potential. You feel low-key resentful at how much you give versus how much you're actually getting back. You feel weird and fragile when big money moments arrive and or you're about to implement bigger money moves. So when you're running a 6-figure business and beyond, an old, too much, not enough programming looks like this. Saying yes to every ask so you don't look selfish. Then resenting your calendar because you're doing the stuff that you don't want to do. Yeah. Keeping your rates at a kind level. This is my favorite. Keeping your rates at a kind level instead of a truthful level. Then quietly feeling used and or pissed off, frustrated because you have to deal with that pain in the ass client that you really didn't want to work with, that your gut told you this ain't the right fit, but you said yes anyways because of the money. Been there, bought the t-shirt, right? Then that person drains you, exhausts you, takes away your energy, your focus, your time. You look at the clock, you're like, I could still be doing something else. All of the things, right? Playing smaller online so you're not too much for those people or that person who knew you back when. This happened to me as well. Sadly, I did lose a lot of different family members and or close friends who I thought were close friends that started to treat me differently, that started to look at me differently. And it resonated when I went back to check them out and see how they were doing and saw that they unfriended me. I'm like, oh shit, it's like that? Okay, right? I knew why. I hit a nerve. There goes Vanessa again, right? Thinking she's all that. Yeah. So this isn't a strategy problem, okay? It's an identity problem that's been coded into your nervous system for years, right? All right. So then what do we do about this? So in this series, if you guys have been watching, I have been mirroring or trying to connect the dots for you within your business and according to what's going on up here, right? So I equate them to 3 domains, right? 3 domains that I know you work on in your business weekly, if not daily. And those 3 domains are your voice and your visibility, money, pricing, right? And then your structure or capacity and boundaries. Cool. All right. So let's look at how this shows up in each one of these three domains. Okay. All right. So voice and visibility. So you're the one everyone calls a powerhouse. You get, let's try this again. You're the one that everyone calls a powerhouse. Yet you keep applying for opportunities you've already outgrown because the rooms you really want to be in feel too big or too far away or not for you. You're the woman people quote behind closed doors, but online you still sound like you're asking for permission to just be. You're the one people come to for courage, and yet you still second guessed posting the thing that sounds most like the real you. So from the outside, it reads as though you're thoughtful, you're professional, you're considerate, right? Underneath, it's your unconscious still running this double bind or this math that you learned years ago where it was taught full power equals risk, full honesty equals exposure, right? So instead of letting your real voice lead, and instead of like tiptoeing around the corner, right, you stay non impressive without feeling overexposed. Let me repeat that. You stay non impressive without feeling overexposed. So people will scroll right through you. Yeah. All right. So that's visibility. How does this show up when it comes to money, pricing, and receiving? I love this one. You catch yourself negotiating against yourself mid conversation, mid sales conversation. I used to do this all the time. That's why I'm laughing. I'm actually laughing at myself when you see me cracking up, right? You catch yourself negotiating against yourself mid conversation, throwing in extras like stretching the timeline or hinting at being more flexible. Sure, I could do calls on a weekend. What? No, ma'am, before anyone has actually pushed back, before they have even said anything. Because being fully paid feels almost more uncomfortable than being slightly underpaid. The other way this shows up is when money does land easily, right? When you get a fast yes, when a client pays in full without question, right? When a referral just came in out of nowhere that you weren't expecting. Your first instinct isn't to anchor in the win, it's to downplay it. I hear this all the time from past clients. Yeah, but it wasn't a huge contract. Yeah, but it was only 5 figures. Yeah. Yeah, but I should be making more by now. Oof. So even your wins don't get count as evidence. We downplay them. From the outside, it looks like you're being accessible, generous, collaborative, right? Easy to work with. Underneath, it's that old imprint showing up yet again, saying, okay, if I charge what it's really worth, it'll be too much. No one will buy. If I don't, I'll never be enough. I'll never catch up. So then your pricing ends up trapped in the middle of this weird space, this weird tug of war, which you are in, which you are allowing. Does this make sense? Yeah, yeah. All right. So what about capacity and boundaries, right? So for this, I want to dive a little bit deeper into rooms, relationships, and self-concept. So in some rooms, you shrink so others feel bigger, or you shrink so others don't feel as small. How many of you have done that? In others, you feel like the biggest personality on the planet when you walk into that room and you know people are saying, here she comes, she's too much. Then you code switch depending on who you're with. And then it feels like no one actually sees the full you. So you switch it up, right? So what happens is you end up managing everyone else's perception of you instead of managing your own expansion. Managing other people's perception of you is exhausting. This is why I've said time and time again, you can't please everybody on social media. You can't please anyone, period. So don't try. You're gonna piss some people off. Let them be pissed. That's on them, and it has nothing to do with you. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, or the biggest takeaways, and God, I can't remember who told me this. I don't know if it was past coaches. It'll come to me. It'll come to me at 3 o'clock in the morning, when my unconscious mind will be like, boop. But I remember hearing, what other people think of you is none of your damn business. Other people's opinions of you is none of your damn business. When that hit, when I heard those words, I was like, holy shit. I spent so much energy and so much time feeling pissed and hurt and misunderstood and wondering why and blah, blah. Like the energy I wasted on that bullshit, like I can't get that time back. So now I'm like, here I go, right? Making up for that time where I'm like, I don't care. There was one person recently that started talking smack about another person. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Like I really don't want to hear it. And they knew I got offended. They knew they were offended by it. I knew that they were offended by it. There it is. And I didn't care. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't want to know. I don't really give a shit, right? I'm sorry if you feel hurt, all of the things, but I don't have time for it. I just don't have time for that shit to live in my mind anymore. Yeah. All right. So you're thinking, okay, Vanessa, so I'm in between this and I get it, right? Feeling like I'm too much and I'm doing not enough. Exhausting. So how then? How do we move forward past this? How do I work on this, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little exercise that I call the 1 power dial. Okay, this is how it works. So let's say I want you guys to grab a notebook and draw 3 headings across the page. Actually, hold on. For my visual learners, let's do this together. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to take notebook, piece of paper, or chatty, whatever you guys are using. All right. And put across the top, voice and visibility. Okay. Money and pricing. And then capacity and standards. Okay. So it should look like this. Got it? Okay. So then I want you guys to rate where you're now playing. Okay. Under each heading, I want you guys to number it from 1 to 10 answering, 1 being I'm barely letting myself being seen, okay? Paid and or supported, right? So number 1 is I'm barely letting myself be seen, paid, or supported. To a number 10, meaning I'm showing up as the full unedited version of myself in this area. Got it? All right, so the first number that hits, don't question it. The first number that hits, your unconscious mind is always right. She's always right. If you listen to her more, I guarantee success will come easier. Okay, the first number that comes. So this might end up looking like, let's see. All right, so voice and visibility, I give myself 8. See, I was questioning myself. Don't do it. Give myself of 8. Money and pricing, I give myself a 7. Okay. Capacity and standards, I'll give myself a 9. Okay. 8, 7, and 9. Cool? All right. So, good. That's your current too much, not enough imprint in numbers. So sometimes it actually helps to see this visually and work through it. Actually, write it old school, but if you're using Chatty, that works too. All right. Step 2 is define what a +1 would actually look like. Okay, so for each answer, it could look like something like this. If I moved this from, let's say my number for voice and visibility is, let's say pricing, because that's the lowest. Money and pricing is 7, okay? To adjust 1 point higher, what would I actually do differently this week? Not January 1st, not January 2026, today, okay? This week, what would I actually do differently this week? Okay, so for example, I'll give you one each for each category. This is what it looked like. A +1 might look like for voice and visibility, posting the thing that you wrote instead of softening the language. So actually posting what you actually want to say. Okay, going live unscripted for 10 minutes instead of hiding behind a carousel or another selfie. Sharing one real story instead of a generic 3 tips post. Yeah, so again, these are just examples. For money and pricing, a +1 might look like quoting your real rate the next inquiry instead of pre-discounting yourself during the call. Oh, okay, I can do it for 10. I can do it for 10,000, not 15. What? All right. Removing one extra call or deliverable you've been throwing in for free. All right, I'll throw in a, strategy session, an additional strategy session. For what purpose? Does that serve the purpose? Right? Or sending the proposal you've been sitting on without another round of tweaking. Just send it. Add the 0 and send it. I'm literally talking to myself, by the way. All right. For capacity and standards, a +1 might look like saying no to one misaligned ask you would normally squeeze in. Yeah, I don't want to go for coffee right now. I don't want to meet anyone right now. Yeah. Moving a call out from the weekend or around, this is one, around your kids' extracurricular activities. I used to be in my phone in my car while my son was in martial arts. And finally he called me out on it. He's like, you never come watch me. But I did read, never mind, see, I'm defending it. Regardless, focus, Vanessa, reel it back in. Stop it. Okay, that could be your +1. Don't send out the email. Don't talk to Chatty in the car, whatever you're doing. Go watch your kid. Or capacity and standards, blocking 2 hours on your calendar for real CEO work, non-negotiable every single week. Yeah? Okay, so then I want you to write down one concrete for each category, right? So I just gave you 3 under each category. Now, just pick one. Pick one area to practice being exactly enough, okay? Choose one of those 3 domains to actually play with this week. So something like this. So for example, if I said money and pricing. All right, so I'm going to focus on money and pricing this week. Okay. So which of these 3, if I dialed up by just 1 point, is actually going to move the needle forward? You already know this. You already know which one it has to be. Okay. Circle that one. So I circled money and pricing. Okay. Got it? Then complete this sentence in your notebook. This week, I'm letting myself be exactly enough in chosen area. So in money and pricing, by doing one action with a day plus time, by sending out this price to this person by end of today. Okay. All right. So let me give you an example for each one of these. So this week, I'm letting myself be exactly enough in visibility by going live for 15 minutes on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, talking about X. This week, I'm letting myself be exactly enough in pricing by quoting my full rate to the next corporate inquiry, no pre-discounting, adding that extra 0. This week, I'm letting myself be exactly enough in capacity by declining one extra committee meeting, board meeting, coffee talk, chat, and leaving that space open for what I really want to do. What is it that you really want to do? Okay. So as we do these little exercises, right, we're not jumping from 4 to 10. Okay. It's not how this works. All I'm doing is just giving you these little tiny exercises to retrain, reteach how your system is now functioning. Again, some of you may not even know that this is why you're acting the way you're acting, right? Again, it's not strategy, it's not branding, it's not the number of freaking followers, none of it, okay? You're reteaching your system. I can turn this up one notch and nothing's gonna break, okay? It's gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out. It's already done. All right, so that's how you start loosening those old too much, not enough imprints without blowing anything up or stretching yourself too much. Some of the times this is just feels like you know that there's a block. You know something's up, right? Where it's not strategy planning, all of that, right? You just don't know how to move forward with it. Yeah? Does that make sense? So what if your too much was actually the exact right energy needed for the rooms you're meant to lead? What? What if not enough was just old code from a version of you who didn't have the receipts you have today? You have the receipts today. You are not that same person a year ago, 5 years ago, 3 months ago. Yeah. What if the business you're building could be designed around your full expression, not around other people's opinions or comfort? I don't give a damn. So imagine walking into 2026 not trying to shrink to prove yourself to anyone and or yourself, but moving like a woman who has nothing to apologize for and nothing to hide. Yeah? So if you're listening to this and this is making sense and you're like, damn, Vanessa, how did you know? Because I know, boo, I've been through it, right? Then if you're feeling like you're juggling a big vision of yourself, a bigger version of yourself, the big responsibility, and yet still dragging on these old stories and being too much and still not enough, which is exhausting, right? And you don't want to drag this crap into 2026, then this is your invitation. Okay. So it's been a minute. It's been about 3 years, 2 or 3 years that I've done a group coaching program because I just didn't want to. I didn't have the capacity. I didn't have the bandwidth. And this year in particular, I have had the calling. I'm like, yeah, I think I want to do another group. And you guys have helped me figure this out because that's what I've heard from you. And I said, I want more community. Do you have something with community? Do you have a group? Okay, well, for those who asked, yes, I have it, right? So I have a brand new group coaching experience called the Courage Container. And it's my high touch 90-day group coaching experience for already successful, ambitious, dare I say, service based women entrepreneurs who are done being not enough, yet too much, and actually want to hold more money, more visibility with ease. They want it to be easy because it gets to be easy once you get yourself out of your own way. All right, so it's where we take what you've already built. You've already done the dang thing. You've built the business. You have the clients, the referrals, all of the things, right? And we want to turn it into predictable cash, a simple, cleaner strategy, okay? And then with real support. So instead of carrying this all on your own. So the Courage Container actually is a small curated group. I'm only going to take no more than 7, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to rewire your unconscious money and visibility using NLP because, again, it's not all just about strategy. Okay. So we're not trying to scale based off of the back of shame, guilt, fear, right? Feel of failure, feel of success. We're going to tighten up your offers, pricing, and position. So your income goals for the first 90 days of 2026 are specific. They are grounded. You know what they are, and they're backed by math, not good vibes. Okay. We're going to use AI, of course, plus my organic social media marketing strategies that have been proven to work. They have garnered past clients massive success, and where you learn to post on purpose. I want you guys to create content that leads to conversations, contracts, cash, right? Not just, oh, you're so inspiring. Although that's very nice too. That ain't going to pay the bills, right? Next, we're going to execute with weekly accountability and real-time coaching. So you stop guessing, stop hiding, and you're actually implementing the money-making moves I'm going to teach you and that you've been telling me you wanted to know. Vanessa, how are you doing this? I'm going to tell you. So it's a 90-day sales and visibility sprint campaign, basically, wrapped in mindset, strategy, and community that matches the level of woman you are. Again, I am taking interviews all this month, right? So I'm carefully curating this group and or groups, whatever it turns out to be, okay? So who's the courage container for? So it's a safe space where we're going to stretch. I'm going to stretch you. I'm going to push you, but in a safe space. So it is for coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, agency owners, practitioners, firm owners. I'm like going through my past clients where you're already around 6 figures and above. Okay. You know, your current numbers are still not where you want them to be. Yeah. Most of your businesses maybe have come from referrals and you've been wanting social to do the heavy lifting, to do its job of what it's meant to do, of what it can do, what you've seen other people do with it, right? All right, so it's also for the woman who is craving high level community. Again, this is what I've heard all year round. Vanessa, do you have group? Do you have group? And I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Now I'm saying yes. Okay. You are craving a high level of community, a room we're talking about money, power, desires is the new normal. Not too much. How dare she? All right. Where we're going to look at both your strategy, your offers, your pricing, your visibility, and we're going to get into it, right? We're going to get into your unconscious stories and being, why am I acting like this? Why is it really not working? We're going to get to the heart of it. Yeah. All right. So how you gain access to this is I'm going to put a link in this live stream to book a private meeting with me. It's going to lead you to my POW page, my proof of work page. You're going to see what past clients I worked with, how I worked with them, all of the things. You're going to click on a button that says apply, and it will lead you to my calendar. From there, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions about your business, just so I know where you're at before we get on a call. And from there, we'll figure out where you're really struggling in your business, where the holes are in your business, right? We're going to get clear on how you really want to see the next 12 months roll out. What do you want? I love asking that question. What do you want? Right? And then see if the courage container is a good fit. Okay. Then you make a decision. If it's a yes, cool. We'll talk next steps. If it's a no, at least you'll leave knowing where you're stuck, get a little bit more clear on where the money blocks are, where the mind blocks are, all the things. And then you have an inner script to know where to go from there. At least you'll know. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right, like I said, I'm going to put the link in this live stream and we'll go from there. All right, guys. So here's the thing. You're not too much and you're not doing enough. It's none of that, right? You've just been operating at half volume because that's what you were programmed to do in a life and a new version of you that's begging you to turn it up to full. Yes? Okay? You just don't know how, and we'll get into all of that. All right, guys. I've had a blast with you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for episode 3. Oh, I have so much more to share. All right, guys. I'll see you online. Peace.